Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is 28th September 2024. In this video, I'm going to generate different weekly reports. Even before generation of these reports, all of you please understand, we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. All the training lessons are available at our NeoStock YouTube channel. So at our channel homepage, you click on the tab posts. Some of you might be seeing the tab community. So you click on that community tab and then you can get access to this post. This post is having a YouTube playlist link that will take you to all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into the playlist Supply Demand Zone Price Action course. All the training lessons are available. You need to start your training from lesson 1.1. For that you need to scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one and strengthen your skills related to supply demand zone price action. I have also provided the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. So at the video description, you can find the link for our Telegram channel. So please join at the channel. It will be helpful to you. Each time when we release a new YouTube video or any other important updates, we'll be providing at our Telegram channel. Now let's get into the report generation. For the weekly time frame, let us find the stocks near weekly demand zone. 4 stocks are filtered near to the weekly demand zone. I will be giving you only few seconds time to watch this report. So you need to pause the video. You need to study all the reports and after that you can further proceed. If you doesn't understand how to study this report, I request you go through the video lesson number 21.1, that is part 1 of lesson 21. There I have explained each and every column in detail, their values, abbreviations, everything I explained in detail. I have also explained how to draw zones in TradingView by taking this leg-in stamp, leg-out time stamp and base candle count. Okay, now let's proceed with the next report generation. For weekly time frame, let us find the stocks near weekly supply zone. 7 stocks are filtered. Next, for weekly time frame, let us find the stocks where price closed inside weekly demand zone. So 18 stocks are filtered. All these 18 stocks are prices closed inside the weekly demand zone. And if you want to know how many of these weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA confluence, further we can filter by looking into EMA confluence in the weekly time frame, weekly demand zone with weekly EMA confluence filter. 14 stocks are filtered. But remember, EMA confluence makes sense only when the trend is uptrend or downtrend, but not in the sideways. Because these are the demand zones, you should look for uptrend stocks. So whichever the time frame you have selected, weekly time frame, that time frame will be treated as LTF. So if you want to look for weekly trend, you need to look for this LTF column. So the stocks having uptrend, you need to select. Or we can add the one more filter, zone violation trend weekly time frame. I am selecting up. See, all the stocks having uptrend are filtered. These 6 stocks are filtered. See, filtering mechanism always helps you to save your time so that you can focus on the stocks that are having parameters convenient to your expectations or convenient to your analysis. Okay, next report For weekly time frame, let us find the stocks where price closed inside weekly supply zone. Inside weekly supply zone. So this is the filter list. Let me scroll the list down. So total 28 stocks are filtered. That means in all these 28 stocks, currently prices are closed inside these weekly supply zones. Some of these zones are pierced zones, you can ignore them. If you don't want pierced weekly zones, we can add the filter. We have a pierced count. In the pierced count at weekly time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means pierced count should be 0. That means zone is not pierced. Let's verify. See, now the list is reduced. Let me scroll the list down. Some mistake has done here. Pierced count list displayed. Maybe something wrong I might have done. In the pierced count weekly time frame, we set minimum value 0. Okay, I have to set the entry zone should be supply zone. If you don't set demand zone or supply zone, whichever the weekly count is pierced count 0, it will select. So this is the filter we need to add. Because the entry zone is supply zone, because we don't want pierced supply zones. Let me further filter. See, now the list is reduced to 16. If we don't select entry zone, either demand zone or supply zone, whichever is having pierced count 0, it will select. So all the stocks are selected earlier. Now the list is reduced to 16. Let me scroll down. So this is the way. Further, if you want to filter, what you can do? EMA confluence. How many of these zones are having EMA confluence? So in the EMA confluence at weekly time frame, we are looking for a weekly supply zone with weekly EMA confluence. How many such kind of zones are there? It identified. But few of these stocks are having sideways trend. We don't want sideways because EMA confluence does not give any advantage if it is sideways. So that's why in the trend, zone violation trend, weekly time frame, I am selecting downtrend because entry zone we selected as a supply zone. Supply zones downtrend makes sense. Demand zones uptrend makes sense. Something wrong? Zone violation trend, weekly trend is downtrend. That means none of these stocks are having downtrend. All these stocks, either they are having uptrend or sideways. Downtrend is not there. None of the stocks are having downtrend. Okay, fine. But if you want to go for a sideways related setup or bearish trade setup for weekly income trade, you can select sideways as a HTF zone, but not ITF zone. ITF zone, you go for daily time frame bearish trade setups, but none of these supply zones are having downtrend. They don't support bearish trade setup for weekly trend, but you can use them as a bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. So monthly income trade sideways trade setup can be used for higher time frame trend, but ITF trend, it should be downtrend for bearish trade setup. You already learned all these rules. Okay, anyway, the next set of report is about tested zones for weekly time frame. Let us find the stocks tested during this week. Tested demand zones. These 10 stocks having demand zones are tested during this week. Okay, next for weekly time frame, let us find the stocks having supply zones tested during this week. So these 11 stocks having supply zones are tested during this week. Let us look into the newly created zones during this week. For weekly time frame, let us find the newly created demand zones during this week. Good number of weekly demand zones are tested during this week. Newly created demand zones are, weekly demand zones are created during this week. All these stocks are having newly created weekly demand zones. Scrolling the list down. Total 32 weekly demand zones are created during this week in all these stocks. That indicates a bullishness, but we need to look for supply zones also. So next, for weekly time frame, let us find the stocks having newly created weekly supply zones. Only 3 stocks. These 3 stocks are having newly created weekly supply zones. Okay, next let us look for EMA confluence zones, zones supporting EMA confluence. Earlier we tested only price closed inside the zone. But what about the other zones? Not inside, maybe in between the supply and demand zone prices might be there. Probably next week prices may enter into that zone or come near to that zone. So that's why let's verify how many of the stocks are having EMA confluence from the complete list. So entry time frame is weekly. In the EMA confluence at weekly time frame, we want weekly demand zones that are having weekly EMA confluence. But you know that EMA confluence makes sense only in the trending market. For demand zones, uptrend makes sense. So that is the reason why in the trend zone violation trend at weekly time frame, I am selecting uptrend. Our software supports both the trends, zone violation trend and swing high-low trend. That is nothing but pivot high-low trend. You already learned in phase 1 training. Higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low, equal high, equal low. Based on that, we can identify. First, I selected zone violation. If the list is big, further we can filter even by selecting swing high-low trend. Even if that trend is also uptrend, both the trends are uptrend, we can say those stocks might be having a strong zone confluence, strong EMA confluence. Now at present I am selecting only trend based on the zone violation. We have a very big list is there, but for the reference purpose let me scroll the list down. After that we will add one more swing high-low trend also uptrend, and then we will further filter. All these stocks are having EMA confluence, and also zone violation trend is uptrend. Total 75 stocks out of 187 list. Okay, now to further filter, I am going to add even swing high-low, that is nothing but pivot high-low trend on weekly time frame is also uptrend. If both the trends are uptrend, those stocks more stable. That way we can understand. Still it is a big list, but let's verify. So total 46. From 75, the list is come down to 46. In all these 46 stocks, they are having weekly zones are having weekly EMA confluence, and also weekly trend is uptrend for both zone violation trend and also swing high-low trend. Okay, so how we can further filter these stocks? Generally zone confluence is there. Probably the order flow in that particular zone could be much stronger. Need not be always, but majority of the times the order flow is much stronger. If it is having confluence with ITF next time frame. So the weekly next time frame, next means the above monthly. Above weekly we have monthly. If weekly zones are having monthly EMA confluence, monthly zone confluence, it's even high probability setup. Already all these zones are having weekly EMA confluence. Now we are looking for zone confluence, demand zone confluence. So in the demand zone confluence, weekly demand zone should have monthly demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. Let's verify. See, now the list is come down to 13. Now it is easy for you to analyze these 13 stocks and plan your trades. But at present, prices are not near to these zones. But even then, sometimes if market is bearish next week, at some point of time, prices may enter into any of these stocks. If the order flow is very strong, again, it will change the price direction towards bullish. That way you need to plan. Okay, the next report is about supply zone confluence, weekly supply zone having EMA confluence. So entry time frame is weekly. Let us look for supply zones are having a weekly EMA confluence. So in the weekly time frame, weekly supply zone with weekly EMA. How many stocks will filter? Let me scroll the list down. So total 17 stocks are filtered. Okay. Let us add even a swing high-low trend is also. But here, did I add the trend? No. Because earlier, see, many of these stocks are sideways, uptrend. Only we want downtrend related stocks. So that's why I need to add a trend based on the zone violation. Weekly trend I selected down. Now let me check. See, now we got only 2 stocks. Because the list is down, there is no need to add a swing high-low trend. Because earlier why we added swing high-low? Because the list was very big. But here only 2 stocks. So we give priority to only zone violation trend first. Now you can easily analyze these 2 stocks. Maybe you want to know if any of these stocks are having monthly zone confluence. Let's verify. Even if monthly zone confluence is not there, you can plan your trades. But let's verify, you may get some advantage. In the supply zone confluence, so weekly supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence I am enabling. None of those stocks are having a supply zone confluence. Fine. Okay, the next report is about LTF, ITF, HTF zone confluence. That means weekly zone should be part of the monthly zone. Weekly, monthly together again part of the quarterly zone. How many such kind of stocks we can identify? So entry time frame is weekly. These weekly zones should be part of monthly. Both together again part of the quarterly zone. That means LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. Let's verify. So in the demand zone confluence, first filter is a weekly demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence, and also weekly demand zone with quarterly demand zone confluence, and also monthly demand zone with quarterly demand zone confluence. All the 3. That is LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. 15 such kind of stocks we identified. 15 stocks. Further, if you want to filter, you can look for how many of these stocks are having EMA confluence. That way you can filter. But anyway, this is purely based on zone confluence. Because such kind of zone confluence, order flow could be much stronger. People believe like that. Okay, next report is about supply zone confluence. So entry time frame is weekly. We need to look for weekly, monthly and quarterly supply zone confluence. That means weekly supply zone should be part of the monthly supply zone, both together part of the quarterly supply zone. So for that, the first filter, weekly supply zone with monthly supply zone, I am enabling the filter. And then weekly supply zone with quarterly supply zone, I am enabling the filter. And then monthly supply zone with quarterly supply zone filter is also I enabled. Now let's verify how many stocks will filter. So 5 such kind of stocks we identified. In all these 5 stocks, we have LTF, ITF, HTF confluence. Now how you can plan your trades? Further again you can filter. You can open these stocks, you can find any daily zones inside these weekly zones. That means we have daily confluence with weekly, weekly confluence with monthly, monthly confluence with quarterly, all the 4 zone confluence. If zone confluence is there, the order flow is much stronger. That is the point you should always understand. That way you can plan your trades. Okay, we have identified zone confluence, and in the final report, what I can do, I can display all the stocks without any filters for the reference purpose. Because you might be having favorite stocks, you want to know what is the demand zone, supply zone, what is the trend, what is the price direction. You have some kind of information you want. So this report will be helpful to you. So I am selecting entry time frame weekly without adding any filters. I am displaying the complete list. All the 197 stocks will be displayed here. Out of 197, 180 are equity stocks, but these equity stocks are filtered as per the stocks listed in F&O category. F&O stocks, but they are not F&O stocks, they are equity stocks. But they are listed in F&O. And first 17 are indices. That includes all the sectorial indices. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. Whichever the stock you want to refer, there you please pause the video. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for our further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.